Hello, brethren, ladies, and friends, and welcome to Three Knocks at the Door at Natoma 64, a podcast dedicated to Natoma Lodge 64, located in Folsom, California. Masonic education, Masonic events, and other Masonic bodies in the greater Folsom area. Your hosts are Brother Jeff Joe and Worshipful Brother Noel Lukas. If you'd like to share ideas or have feedback for us, or would like to join our mailing list, please feel free to email us at 3katd64@gmail.com. Today, Worshipful Noel and I will be taking a look back on this year and reflecting on his year as the Worshipful Master of our Lodge. We will keep in mind that our conversation will not violate our obligations, and that our opinions in no way reflect any views taken by our Lodge or Grand Lodge. We hope you'll enjoy the show.
All right. Well, welcome everyone to Three Knocks at the Door in Natoma 64. I'm your host, Jeff Joe, and your co-host is Worshipful Brother Noel Lukas, past master, junior past master. I got it. So how's it feel to be past master for a full week now?
It's been nice. My phone's been quiet. That's been interesting. Text message threads all been quiet. Yeah. So, it's been an interesting break, and of course a nice little readaptation to how things were before, right? So,
Yeah, getting some more time with the family.
Absolutely, that's been an important thing right there. It's been a little bit more focused on that.
Awesome. So I'm sure the audience has noticed that it's just us two today. So figured we'd do a little year in review show. Talk about your year and go over some of the highlights and how you felt about the year, and kind of turn the tables a little bit. So let's start with how did you get into Masonry, and how did you find Natoma Lodge?
So, my grandfather was a Mason. He didn't talk about it. He was more of that, the quiet mindset that they used to have about, we don't really talk about it. But subtle things like his rings, and I have his apron, things like that. So for me, it was always, I loved my grandpa. I always thought he was a super respectful man. And so I obviously wanted to kind of find out what guided him into that. And so for me, I always had an interest in Masonry. And it was not until it was years down the road, Larry and I, when we were working together at the store, started talking about Masonry. And he had a similar kind of path. And so we decided, well, let's do this. Let's find a lodge and see what's all about. And so we had a couple customers that we knew were Masons, and we started talking to one of them in particular from one of I can't remember which lodge he was from, the downtown. And he started asking us questions about why we were interested, what we were hoping to get out of it. And he's actually the one, based on our location, based on our interests, he's the one who suggested we go check out Folsom, Natoma. And so, Larry and I were very interested in the history and the ritual and things like that. And so Natoma apparently has a very good reputation for that, is what we got told. And so, we showed up. Well, actually, we found another now brother, Brother John McNitt, came by the store, and we started talking to him, and he told us he was part of Natoma. And so he invited us out, and we started showing up for the dinners and the breakfasts, and right away we knew we found a spot we wanted to be. The brothers were just very welcoming, and we had so much fun, doing the breakfast in particular and helping set up and, getting involved in that way. And that's how we kind of got started.
All right. That's cool. It's kind of it's nice how Natoma has a very active schedule, and they get everybody involved. So it's kind of it makes it a lot easier to kind of get involved and get to know the brothers. So
what's great about our lodge, right, is we are pretty active on our schedules, and we have nice, easy, fun events, and they gear towards all kinds of different things. So you got some of your more elegant events, and then you got some of your more family natured kind of events, and that's what I really loved, was the spectrum of things going on.
So fast forward now, coming into this year. So I mean, like I said, so I know you're a manager by trade, so probably not too far off from managing the lodge. So how did you feel coming into the year becoming the worshipful master?
So from the business side, I wasn't overly concerned. We have some amazing brothers that will, help the whole way through, help planning, provide guidance with the budget, with the meetings, with committees and things like that. So I knew that there's strength in numbers, right? And so that you could lean on, no problem. Uh, of course, now you're fully in charge of making big decisions. It's always a matter of, am I going to make the right one? Because you're impacting a lodge of guys that aren't getting paid to be there. They're volunteering to be there. They're actually paying to be part of this. So it's a different dynamic. At work, as the manager, you can kind of tell people what to do, and it's provision of the job. But in the lodge, it's a balancing act, right? I mean, even though you're the master, it's not like you're a dictator. You want harmony. You want brothers to do things to help out and to want to be part of that. So you got to balance out a lot of things that are happening with their lives, your life, the lodge's existence, all these things. So, from that aspect, that part was pretty unnerving at the beginning.
And then who was there anybody that kind of that guided you that you felt like was like your maybe like a mentor to you that you kind of leaned on, or was it like a group of guys, or was there somebody in particular that you leaned on a little more than others?
Well, I mean, of course, I had, our lodge is very fortunate to have a lot of active past masters that will help out and provide guidance, mentorship, and things like that. Now, you've heard me mention in other podcasts and stories that, Worshipful Joe Friedson is the one that got stuck helping Larry and I go through the degrees. So obviously he provided a lot of mentorship throughout my time and going through the degrees, going through the line, during my time in the line. I mean, I had him as chaplain for a reason, not just because he wanted to do it, but I figured have him by me in the East, right? So, and then of course, Worshipful Nielsen being a past master, him and I, and now secretary, him and I had many conversations together throughout my time in the chairs, and during my time in the East. He provided a lot of good information, good insight, and so to them, and then of course, I'll never forget. Once I put on the hat, and we were out there the reception area. Worshipful Wells came up and whispered to me, and that now it was Worshipful Stackhouse's time to step down, my time to start. And he said that now Stuart's cell phone stops, yours begins. And I chuckled, and I was like, okay, cool. That'll come Monday, right? Nope, it was first day. And it was funny. I got phone calls right away. I was like, so I laughed. I was like, okay, he was not wrong.
Yeah.
And but we have a lot of brothers that want to get involved, like to help out, and will jump around. So I was very fortunate. Some of the information that was provided to me going through, and of course, our inspector Scott Morrison, also another guest that we had on here. He and I talk probably more than he wants to. I would
more than you would care to admit.
Yeah. He helped guide me along with a lot of things as well. And so, of course, I think, developing a strong friendship out of that as well, which is, again, one of the things that I love about Masonry.
Were there any surprises this year?
I can't really think of anything that caught me completely off guard. I mean, we learned a lot and we did a lot of changes. And I think the most interesting, well, not the most interesting, one of the very interesting things that came about during my year was the proposal of 311 Marketplace, right? That proposal has made for some very interesting conversations within the lodge. And you get to see a lot of insight as to where people think for the future of the lodge, right? And in their perspectives on things and their involvement. And it became very interesting as we've been going through this thing. So, but I don't want to say it was a surprise, but it definitely gave me a different perspective on managing certain groups and people and working alongside them, right? So,
how about, what was your favorite event that you put on?
so I love doing the Sweethearts Luncheon. It's always a fun one. I love the fact that our lodge is very protective of its sweethearts, and that we do this lunch once a year. So I love that lunch because it's fun to see a lot of the ladies come, and we get to honor them. And then, of course, that one is what I consider a little bit more business, right? And so, but still a lot of fun. And of course, then the more relaxed one would be our luau. I love our luau. So
That's always a fun one.
right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and you know, being the junior warden or past junior warden, how much work goes into these things. So it's a lot of work to get these events set up. So the more help we get, the better off we are, and I think the more relaxed and more enjoyable they are too.
Mhm. Was there anything that you wish that you could have done differently or better?
Well, I mean, you always want to, you want to maintain peace and harmony throughout the lodge, right? So it's something you're constantly thinking about, because you have to understand that you can't get everybody to like all decisions you're going to make, right? Somebody's always inevitably going to not like a decision. But I think I did the best I could with what I had at the time. Um, I don't really regret anything, because even bad choices are still lessons learned, right? So I wouldn't change anything. I think it was a very insightful time. Pretty quiet year, though. I mean, when you compare my year to, say, Worshipful Wells, where they did pretty much a degree, almost every week they were saying, right? And then mine was very few, more initiations, which is great, right? We brought a handful of brothers into the fraternity, which is fantastic, and finished off the year with a few prospects lined up too. So lining things up for Worshipful Sanchez and you guys again to take over.
What about anything that, like, what's the biggest standout memory for you?
I think right from the beginning, when you're standing there in the East and you put the hat on officially for the first time, right? Because as you know, we practice through the degrees. You do practice in the East, but when you put that hat on the first time officially as a master, and the master of ceremonies announces, brethren, behold your master, and master, behold your brethren, that's a very, very strong moment, right? There was, I would say, I felt a lot of emotion on that one. And then, of course, going back to the events luncheon, for the Sweethearts Luncheon, when we got to announce our first Cornerstone recipient with Mary Davis, right? That was a very touching moment for me. It's something that I always will always stay with me, because she didn't expect it. She was, she's very deserving of it, and she's always been there for our lodge, and so it was really touching to see her reaction, and her husband Dennis's too, right? That was a really, really good moment for me as well.
I think that was a pretty big highlight for me too, because I just happened to come out of the kitchen, I think, right when you did that, and I was right there, and she didn't even see it coming.
No,
and it was, her reaction was awesome. So yeah. Let's see. Coming towards the end of the year, how was it, like, like knowing that the end is coming?
Mm-hmm.
Was it like kind of bittersweet, or like, were you like, I'm gonna miss this, or is it like, dude, I'm done, I can't wait for it to be over with? Like, how did it feel?
It's funny. It's mixed emotions, right? I mean, you start off the year and things are kind of, you're nervous about how things are going to go. Are you going to do things right? Is it going to, am I going to take out a lodge that's been around for 171 years, or, am I going to help it thrive, right? And then you just start getting to that point where you're getting the rhythm. Okay, I got this. I got to feel. And next thing you know, you're like, oh, I'm done, right? And so you're starting to prepare the next line and making sure that they're ready. And so you want to make sure that they're comfortable with what's coming up, and that they're going to be ready for their year. And so it's a lot, but then you start to realize you're going to have a lot of free time. Certain things are going to kind of come off your list. Now, of course, you can always get back involved, in which I 100% will be doing. But I started looking forward to, you sacrifice a lot going through the chairs as far as your time goes. Everybody knows that. It's a big sacrifice to your personal schedule, your family schedule, things like that. And so I was excited about getting some of that. I missed some, events with my son's sporting events and things like that because I was doing lodge events. And so it's a balancing act. And, but yeah, no, it's definitely certain parts you're going to miss and certain parts you're definitely not going to miss.
So what about any advice that you would give to somebody that might be thinking about joining the officers line, or thinking about like, well, maybe I want to kind of, stick my toe in the water and maybe go to an officer's practice or something like that?
So I recommend anybody to at least come to the officers' practices at a minimum, right? At a minimum. But if you can get the time to join and become part of the one of the appointed positions, Tyler, Marshall, anything like that, if you can get the appointed position where you can help out, you are going to learn so much, right? You're things in different ways. The lessons could taught in many different ways, but you're going to learn a lot. So highly recommended for anybody. If you're going to try to get into the progressive line, communication is critical with your friends and family, right? You want to make sure that you have a pave and understanding for those that you're going to sacrifice a fair amount of time for the lodge to help out, and that it's going to have a high demand on you. But it's a rewarding situation. It's a reward. I can't tell. I would do it again in a heartbeat, But again, I know part of it is because I communicated with my wife and my kids and let them know that, hey, unfortunately, there's things I'm going to miss. I hope you guys can understand. And my family was very supportive throughout the whole progression, and that helped out a lot. So that's the big thing. Communicating is critical in all aspects.
So how about any advice you would have for like an officer that would be getting close to becoming a worshipful master, or even the new worshipful master?
So again, communication is always going to be the foremost thing that I could preach about. Talk to your line, talk to your committees, get them involved, get their feedback. Because again, you're managing a group of guys that are not paid. It's all volunteers, so you want to get their buy-in, right? So that they're supportive and get their feedback. So that they might see things that you're not seeing, or been through things that you haven't been through, and kind of be able to help you out with that one. So it's constantly about communication and keeping everybody on the same page as much as possible. That's going to be the biggest bit of advice I can give. And then, of course, just watching your time. Balance your calendar. Get it prepared in advance, because this way you can lay out expectations for others as well. But anybody going through, once you get into the chairs, I mean, you saw it. Junior warden is Worshipful Wes Minderman, one of our former secretary, right? Secretary, I think he did was like 12 years he was secretary. I always thought secretary was like the roughest job in the lodge. And when he came up to me when I was junior warden and said that the junior warden's role is one of the toughest, is the toughest one, I was like, well, this coming from the secretary tells you a lot.
Yeah.
It's so you have to prepare yourself as junior warden that you're going to be involved in quite a lot of things. It's going to be a heavy, basically heavy time suck, right? You're gonna be there and you're gonna be supporting the lodge, but again, man, if you get the right lineup, you have fun with it. You can have a lot of fun getting things prepared, and get involved with different things, and you get to meet a lot of different people if you're working through different organizations and committees and things like that. So you take from it what you get into it. But as you know, being junior warden was tough. By your expression, you can just see it. So you got to prepare yourself mentally for a lot of different things to understand the demand that's going to be placed on you. But again, I can't tell anybody enough how much it's worth it at the end to go through it, to be part of it. I feel so very honored that my photo is now up on the wall. My name's on the plaque. That's just, when I sit back and I was going through the line, or even before I got in the line, just sitting there looking at the wall and just seeing all the men that have come before me, and wondering what their journeys were, right? I mean, there's 171 years of history there. It's crazy. And so now I get to be a long-term part of that. And that really just, it hits, right? It stands out.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Like you said, junior warden, you definitely learn a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
a lot. I mean, Worshipful Nielsen was the master at the time that I was junior warden, and so he always called me his event coordinator. I wasn't junior warden; I was his event coordinator. So it made me laugh because he's not wrong. You're doing so much. You cooked a lot in our year. I didn't have as much time. I couldn't do that kind of thing. So we tried to do a few events where we cooked and kept it in house. But and Worshipful Stackhouse and I did some fun things with our cooking. But we catered a lot too, just to take care of things. But even that is still a lot of work, coordinating with the caterers and getting things set up. And you learn little tricks and skills that you didn't even know you were going to learn or even think about picking up.
Yeah, it's amazing the stuff you learn. It's just like, man, at the end of it, it's like, man, I didn't think I was going to get through this.
That, you asked me about ready to be done in my year. No, for the East, no, but for junior warden, yes. So yeah, it's funny. You sitting there going, and, we try to help each other out, right? We take notes. We have the binders. We got, and you created the Google Docs, and you took it to another level with trying to pass down information, which is amazing. But that's the big thing, right? It's just trying to prepare the next guy so it's not such a headache. Because no matter what you do, there's always going to be something new, some kind of new headache, right? So Worshipful Stackhouse would tell me certain things that he ran into because he did it for 2 years, right?
Yeah.
He'd tell me some things that he ran into, and okay, cool. I could prepare for that. That's easy enough, right? But then something else would occur. Me like, oh man. So I would tell Pedro, and and it was just like it just goes down the list, right? And I know you're lining Rob up and trying to show all the information, but there's still always some things you're gonna learn.
Yeah, you can't prepare for everything. It's just
So you learn to become very adaptable. Now, a lot of us with military law enforcement backgrounds, things like that, we kind of trained in that, so it helps. You got that to fall back on, right?
Yeah.
If you don't have that experience, it can come as a little bit of a shock. Others, right? You get to lean on others that have been there before you, and helped, and then you got we got the new guys coming through that want to be part of it. And that's the greatest thing, is the strength in the numbers that we have.
Absolutely. Yeah, and even seeing some of the guys that potentially could be coming up, it's kind of it's nice to see.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's funny. Obviously, when brother or new guys come in, the prospects come in, from an officer standpoint, yeah, of course we're looking at them as, are they potentially officer? Could they handle it, right? But they're just sitting there trying to absorb. I mean, when Larry and I got to the lodge and became members, and after our initiations and everything like that, being an officer was probably the farthest thing from my mind. It was, I was in awe watching these guys do the lectures, the floor work, and things like that. And I'm stumbling over learning short form, first degree obligation, right? But I'm watching these guys do staircase, the master's lectures, and I'm going, wow, this is so impressive. so beautiful too, because Natoma puts a lot of practice into their ritual, and so when it's done and done properly, it's so beautiful. And I can't tell you what part where I all of a sudden decided I really wanted to be part of it. I just knew that there was a time where it clicked, and I kind of want to say it was around one of the times where Worshipful Nielsen was doing the staircase ceremony. Because I was watching him do it, and he put so much infliction, and he was just very articulate in his manner and everything. And it was so beautiful. And I wanted to see him, like, I wanted to challenge myself. Could I do that? Could I get to that? And then you watch like Worshipful Kevin Williams, right? And, that way he would do his degrees and things like that. And it's like, okay, can I do this? Can I be part of it? And because they seem to be having fun doing it. It wasn't, they made it not intimidating is really what happened. It's like, and so I talked to Kevin multiple times. Him and I had conversations a lot during his, before he became master. And he ultimately decided to appoint me to the junior deacon position. And that's kind of like, once you're there, it's go time.
Yeah. That's when the commitment's there.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, being a junior steward and senior steward and things like that, it's fun because you get to be involved in events. You get to be involved, and the demand is on you from a different aspect, right? You're helping out, prepare and plan and coordinate with the junior warden and things like that. Set up of things. But once you sit in that junior deacon's chair, it's a different ball game. Changes things up.
Yeah, it's go time then.
You asked me for advice. That's something else I would advise anybody on. Pay attention. As junior deacon, you're sitting there, and it's 5 years from that chair to the chair in the east, right? And it seems like a long time. It goes quick. And, if I had paid attention a little bit more during some of these things, I, probably would have picked up on things a little bit faster. Watch and learn the whole time, because so many things are going to come up, and each master's year is going to have different things come up, right? Different fun events, or not events, fun things that happen, and some of the things that aren't so fun, business side that happens, unfortunately, because like the first time we dealt with the loss of a brother, right? The first time my experience, that was rough, but then it's dealing with it as a master, it's completely different, right? Trying to be there for the family, trying to support, trying to help, trying to do your part. So these are things you can learn by just paying attention.
How about on the lighter side, the funniest memory?
So the funniest memory I have, I'm not sure if I could actually tell that story on this thing, because our junior warden will kill me if I tell this, but which what I'm talking about. And in ritual we have slip of the tongue, and things, certain words come out that shouldn't come out, and I think that was probably the funniest funniest thing that happened, because we always tell the candidates, if you hear laughter, it's not at you, it's that's up, right? And we try so hard to be part of that ritual and maintain reverence to the whole experience. But when you have a brother that slips up and throws a word in there.
But you know what, though? The one good thing about that is that it kind of broke the ice.
Oh, it 100% did. It was.
Yeah.
I mean, it was hilarious. It was funny. Yeah. But there's so many times. I can remember other times and other events going through the line where masters slipped up and said the wrong thing, and it just happens. And you just laugh and move on, right? But,
yeah, because it's one of those things where to me it was like, because we get so focused on like trying to be perfect and trying to get it done right, but then like when something like that happens, it was so funny that it's just like, all right, you know what? It's just not so bad. You know what? Like we can get through it, and just nothing to worry about.
And the degree was going so well.
Yeah.
Bob was doing fantastic.
Yeah.
It was just one little slip and one stupid word, but it was just hilarious. It was just, the timing was perfect. Everything just lined up. It was perfect for a good laugh.
Yeah.
And that, I'll always remember that one. And unfortunately, Brother Rob Wishing we'd all forget it, but
But he recovered well from it, though. I mean, he did great.
fantastic. I mean, I probably would have lost it, right? Kept on going. I mean, he was smooth about it, and it made me very proud too to see him because I basically appointed him junior deacon role too. But he did the sacrifice. A lot of people don't realize that he did the sacrifice because with the loss of our brother Arthur, we had a gap in the line, and Rob jumped in to help that gap. And so even though I appointed him junior deacon, he jumped to senior right away because of everything that was going on. And that's a huge jump. Very few people have experienced that jump, and that's a big jump because there's a lot of demand. You're just getting your feet wet as a junior deacon and kind of getting your head in the game, like you said, dipping your toe in the water, right? He just jumped right in, and did the lodge very proud by doing so. And so to see him progress through that way and watching it, and the way he just smoothly went right through that, it was great. So that was a proud moment too. I'll throw in there.
Yeah. Yeah, he did a great job on that degree too. That was awesome. What are you looking forward to being the past master now?
Okay, this one, I look so forward to sitting in the South with some of the other, grumpy old past masters, right, and just having fun. Just talking with them and making our, being the, oh, that's not how we did it in our year type, and things like that, right? And of course, I'm going to be poking fun at our junior warden and having fun with him on the side, doing my oh so subtle quiet whispers. So, but no, I look forward to that, of course. But I look forward to helping out, again, in the background sometimes or whatever. We're going to be involved. I mean, we still have our scholarship programs and our other things. Of course, getting back to breakfast is going to be fun. And I'm looking forward to that one. I know we got our first January. When's our first breakfast?
I think it's January 3rd. January 3rd.
January 3rd, right? And Worshipful said that we're definitely having our breakfast back. So, yeah. Hopefully it'll be a decent turnout because, New Year and all that stuff. We'll see. But yeah. Those are the things I'm looking forward to getting back involved in and focusing on that, right? Because when you're the master and you're getting involved, you get kind of pulled different ways, right? Somebody's got to talk to you about this, or they ask you a question about that, or you're trying to help the appellate bodies, the junior, the youth groups, or things like that. So, being the junior past master, I get to kind of get back involved and just focus on the events. So I am looking forward to that.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah. Well, this is funny because normally this is the time where I would be doing the wrap up and start saying, closing remarks.
I'm trying to think of like what else we can hit on, but I think we've kind of hit on everything.
Yeah, I think we did. It was a fun year. I really enjoyed even the tough times. I enjoyed the every aspect of it. And I shouldn't say enjoyed it, but I learned something from it. You glean what you can from every experience, right? I mean, when we lost Worshipful Harv Holcomb, that was a tough time for many. And so helping where I could be part of that was an experience. And that's it's not a fun time, but there's still a lot of experience to be learned from that and seeing how you can help others out. And that's where it becomes where you realize just how many different ways we can help each other out. We can help the community out. And it makes you proud to be a Mason, and that's, if I could leave on any note, that's what I could say is just be proud to help where you can, when you can.
Well, thank you for your time, and thank you for doing this year in review, and thanks for your service to the lodge.
It was my pleasure. I learned so very much going through it, and I know I didn't thank everybody who helped me out through my time here, because we'd be on here all day long going through. I could pull up iMember and just start scrolling through, right? Because there's so many people that help out and get involved, and I'm looking forward to watching your progression throughout the year. Of course, I'll help you wherever I can, and then your time comes up. Well, we'll do a year in review for you, but in the meantime, we're gonna have to line up Worshipful Sanchez, get him on here.
Yeah,
talk to him about his plans for this coming year.
Yeah, we'll get him on here. I'd mentioned it to him, so he said yes. So it's just a matter of trying to get the schedules to align, and we'll get that scheduled here shortly.
Well, yeah, we'll discuss. And I'm also looking forward to Joe. That's the other thing I'm looking forward to too. Seeing where we can take this podcast, expanding out, right?
Yeah.
And talking to other brothers, other lodges, and things like that, and pulling them in, and finding out what other events are going on, because there's a lot of stuff going on in masonry that is outside of our lodge. So there's going to be some good things to progress on.
Yeah, it's definitely we're definitely a work in progress, and we'll get there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, well, thanks for your time, and thanks for coming on and doing this here with me.
Absolutely.
And again, thanks for your service to the lodge. We all definitely appreciate it. And if there's any brothers that are interested in becoming candidates coaches, please reach out to me. You got the email here on the intro. Just reach out through the email, or if you reach out to me through iMember, you can do that as well. And we have the next event we have is going to be the breakfast on January 3rd. And then our stated dinner, I think, what is that, January 8th? We'll have our stated dinner then. And then if there's any brother that would like to do any coaching for their proficiency, we have candidates coaching next week on, let's see, what is the date? I can't remember here. On Thursday, the 18th. Actually, Wednesday, the 17th, and Thursday, the 18th, from 5 until 7 with Worshipful Friedson. And then we'll be dark for the next 2 weeks, and then we'll start it back up again after the stated meeting. So,
one more plug in here too. Don't forget about as it stands right now, as long as my schedule doesn't get interrupted, we have Brother Jonathan Godbout's third degree on January 29th.
Yep, yeah, don't forget that. So put that on your calendar. That'll be a big one. Third degree on the 29th.
My schedule is not because things revolve around me by any means, but Worshipful Brother Sanchez has allowed me to retake my position in the East for this degree, because he understands my Jonathan Godbout is Larry's son, and my connection to them is, Larry and I have known each other for years, so he's letting me have the honor of being part of that raising of Jonathan. So it's a big deal for me, and as much as it is a big deal for Jonathan to get raised, this is just as important for me to be part of it, and I'm so very thankful that he's asked me to do that, and that Worshipful Sanchez is allowing it to happen.
And we're all looking forward to that degree happening too. So it's definitely got a lot coming up here in the next month. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for joining us. Happy holidays, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Yeah,
Take care.
Happy holidays, everybody. Take care.